We see in this all that the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. The rich know how money works and how to manage money. But the poor have no knowledge about this at all. The poor only earn money but do not take any steps to increase it. And the rich constantly increase their financial knowledge. Rich people always read financial books. They focus on financial education. The most important book for financial education is Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. In short, the summary of this book is build assets and avoid liabilities. In this book, Robert mentions his two fathers. One is his own father, who was highly educated, and he was a teacher. He was not poor then, but his economic knowledge was very little. So he called him Poor Dad. Another father is his friend Mike's father. He was less educated. He studied only up to class 8. But at that time he was not rich yet. But his economic knowledge was much greater. So he used to call him Rich Dad. Later the Rich Dad became much richer and the Poor Dad became much poorer. In this video I will discuss the 7 rules of money from Rich Dad Poor Dad. Rule number 1. Think like rich, not like poor. Now the question is how to think like rich? Let's learn the first example from Rich Dad and Poor Dad. The Poor Dad said the love of money is the root of all distraction. And the Rich Dad said not having enough money is the cause of all evil. Poor Dad said study well so that you can get a good job. Rich Dad said study well so that you can buy a big company. Poor Dad said the reason I am not rich because I have kids. Rich Dad said the reason I must be rich because I have kids. If Poor Dad couldn't do something, he would say, I can't afford it. But Rich Dad used to say, how can I afford it? Because if we keep saying, I can't do this again and again, our brain will stop working. But if we tell how to do it, our brain will get a chance to think. And our brain will gradually become much stronger. Rich Dad believed that my house is my liabilities, and Poor Dad thought my house is my biggest investment. Even when Rich Dad was in financial trouble, he used to say, I still think I am rich. Because being bankrupt is not the same as being poor. Bankruptcy is temporary but poverty is permanent. So think like rich, not like poor. Rule number 2. Get out from the rat race. We all go to school for study. Then we go to college for higher education. After taking higher education, we join the job. We get salary at the end of the month and we spend that salary in the family. After some days, we got married. Our cost increase. We make ourselves better skilled workers so that we can earn more money and spend it in the family. Then when we have children, our expenses increase even more. We need a bigger house. Thus life goes on. After a while, we dislike our job and we work only for money. This is how we become slaves of money. Sometimes we borrow money. Life passes by doing this. It is called rat race. Let's take a deeper look of this rat race. If you hold a carrot in front of a donkey, the donkey will do all the things because of the carrot. Just like you can think of a carrot as a car or a house or something else. And we are greedy for that car or house like a donkey. Like a donkey is greedy for the carrots. Now the question is how to get out of this rat race. Let's learn the example from Robert and Mike, how they got out from the rat race. At that time, children loved to read comic books. One day, Robert and Mike found the distributors of the comic books and they were throwing away old comic books. Robert and Mike requested to the distributors to giving them the old comic books. The distributors said that they will give them the old comic books, but there is a condition, and the condition is that they cannot sell these old comic books. Robert and Mike accepted their condition. After that, Robert and Mike opened a library in Mike's house. There, kids paid 10 cents and could read as many comic books as they wanted within 2 hours. They hired Mike's younger sister as a librarian and paid her $1 a week. See, they didn't work in the library but they are also earning money. They learned that how to use money for themselves. You need to do the same. Create some assets that will work for you. You don't need to create your current job. Now you save money from your salary and then you will spend your other expenses. And after a time when your saving will be enough, then build an asset from the savings. And you have to decide which asset you will build. You have to know which business you can manage. Build a reliable asset. Then create another asset from the old asset. And then you can quit your job. Get out of the rat race like this. Use your brain. Rule number 3. Learn financial education. Robert says people think that money will solve their problems. But no, Robert thinks that intelligence solves problems and produces money. Robert also says that without financial intelligence, the money that comes to you is gone very quickly. It is not important how much money you earn, but it is important that how much money you can keep. Let's see an example for this. A basketball player who had billions of dollars a year ago, but after 1 year he had nothing, and that's why he used to wash cars for only few money. After a few days, he was fired from the job. Now you can understand that it is not important how much money you earn, but it is important that how much money you can keep. The first and foremost step in financial education is to know the differences between assets and liabilities. An asset is something that will give you money, and a liability is something that will take money from you. So buy more and more assets and avoid liabilities. After some time, you will not have any difficulty to buy any car or house or etc. Rule number 4, mind your own business. In 1974, McDonald's founder Ray Kroc was asked to speak to a MBA class at the University of Texas at Austin. After the lecture, the students and Ray were drinking beer together. At that time, Ray asked, "Do you know what is my business?" Then everyone laughed. Then the students thought Ray was joking. So no one answered Ray's question. Ray asked again, "Do you know what is my business?" Then a student said that the business of hamburgers. Then Ray said, "No, my original business is real estate." You should also have a business like Ray. Imagine if someone is a school teacher, then it is his profession, not his business. But if that person is the owner of the school, then it will be his business. So mind your own business. Rule number 5, don't work for money. Robert says don't work for money, work to learn. Because people work hard for little money. But if people learn something new along with his work, and if he evaluates his learning very wisely, then it will be something much greater than a job. So work for learning, not just for money. Nowadays, people have given up learning. People think that being educated in school is enough. But this idea is wrong. So keep increasing your knowledge. Try to always learn something new. Rule number 6, learn selling. It doesn't matter what is your profession. If you want to be successful in your profession, you have to know selling skill. Let's know why you should learn selling skill. Once Robert was giving an interview. He was being interviewed by a young woman. During the interview, girl told to Robert, "I want to be a best-selling author like you." Then Robert read her writings and saw that the quality of the girl's writing was very good. Robert said, "Your writing style is great. Who is stopping your dreams from coming true?" The girl said, "Everyone says my writing is good, but nothing works. My books don't sell very well. Can you give me some advice?" Robert encouraged and said, "Yes, you should learn selling by joining a sales course. It will be good for you." After hearing this, the girl became very angry and said, "I will never learn selling. I hate salespeople." Then Robert pointed to a note and said, "Look, it says Robert Kiyosaki is the best-selling author, not the best author. This means if you want to succeed in your profession, you will need the selling skill. So learn selling." Rule number 7. Overcome all obstacles. Many people know how money works and how to make money for themselves. But there are many obstacles coming into their way. As a result, they cannot grow their assets much. Robert divides this obstacle into 5 parts. Number 1, fear. Everyone is afraid of losing money. Even rich people also. Rich people lost money too. They also lost in businesses. But then they try with all their might to turn their loss into a win. But when the poor man lost in business, he accepts defeat. Number 2, doubt. Poor people always think that if I do this work and if it fails, then what will happen with me? And thinking about this, the poor do not do many important things. But rich people think that if I do this work and if I succeed in this work, how much profit I will get? And thinking about this, the rich started with their work and they achieve success. Number 3, laziness. Laziness is the greatest enemy of human life. Robert says, rich people are more lazy. A man who is very rich, he is always busy with his work. Let's see an example for the man who is very busy for his work and he is very rich. And his relationship with his wife is not good. Still, he is not giving time to his wife. He is only concentrating on his work. As a result, his wife left him after a few days with his children. And for this, he can no longer focus on his work as before. And gradually, his business turned to loss. And he becomes poor. Number 4. Habits. The rich people's habit is they give themselves first after receiving their monthly salary and they spend the rest of this money. And the habit of the poor is that they pay taxes first, pays other bills, then they give themselves. That's why in order to become rich, you must first develop good habits within yourself. Number 5. Pride. Pride is the root of all downfall. A proud person can never grow in life. Robert said that when he discussed financial statements with accountants or investors, if they didn't know something, they would act arrogantly. They are arrogant. Generally, they cannot succeed in life. The summary of this video is: Rule number 1. Think like rich, not like poor. Rule number 2. Get out from the rat race. Rule number 3. Learn financial education. Rule number 4. Mind your own business. Rule number 5. Don't work for money. Rule number 6. Learn selling. Rule number 7. Overcome all obstacles.